3 years ago, I went all in on Whatnot, no safety net, no backup plan. Let me tell you, it's been a wild ride. I've made mistakes, I've had big wins, and I've learned lessons that can save you time and money. Let's rewind the clock and look back on what I've learned after 3 years of doing this every single day. First, I want to thank all my amazing viewers and buyers and community on the Whatnot app. A lot of people have supported me for the full 3 years I've been on here. A lot of you are also new to my shows. I would not have been able to do this for 3 years for my full-time job if I didn't have all the love and support from community, buyers, viewers, etc. I've been a part-time reseller since 2013. I started on Poshmark. I just sold things from my closet, just loved making a few extra dollars on there. Eventually, I started getting more into it. After selling things from my closet, I realized how fun it was to make that extra side hustle money. And then I started sourcing pre-loved clothing items to resell and make even more money. This really started building into a business. Fast forward to 2022, right before I found Whatnot. At the time, I was reselling on Poshmark part-time for extra money, and then working 12-hour shifts at an Amazon warehouse at night. I was miserable doing that Amazon job, and I hated going to work every day. So on the side of working at the Amazon warehouse, I was posting reselling content on TikTok, little short videos every day with tips and updates of how my part-time selling on Poshmark was going. One day I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across some friends in my reseller community on there that posted a video about Whatnot and what it was and how much fun it was. After I watched that video, I thought, that sounds really interesting. I downloaded the app to see what they were talking about. They were talking about how much success they had live selling. And I thought, I could never live sell, but I'm going to download the app just to go support them and watch some of their shows anyways. I downloaded Whatnot that day, created a profile, didn't apply to sell yet, but I watched a few of my friends. Seemed like they were moving product really fast. As the weeks went on, I was watching shows here and there and saw more and more success videos on TikTok about how well it was going for all of my reseller friends. I decided, it doesn't hurt to apply if I change my mind and want to try it later on. At least I will get accepted and can decide from there. I sent in my application. You had to fill out your reselling background and what type of inventory you had. I sent an inventory video of all of my Poshmark inventory I had. And I sent that in. I heard nothing. A lot of my friends had said they had gotten accepted within a day or two, and I didn't hear anything. Finally get a response that my application has been accepted and I am approved to live sell. I just need to complete an onboarding. Honestly, I didn't think they were going to accept me because most people heard back within a day. I thought maybe my social media following's not big enough. I ended up getting the acceptance notice and I thought, how cool is that? Still had the same mindset about it. I'm way too nervous. I would never live sell. That is just not me. I'm not super outgoing like that. I'll attend the onboarding just so I'm approved fully if I ever get the guts one day to try it. After attending onboarding, which was just a quick 30-minute introduction on how the app works, how to run auctions, etc., and what the rules and everything are. Onboarding was really simple and great. I remember this one specific thing at the end of the onboarding class. One of the people who works at Whatnot said, just rip the band-aid off and go live. You will regret if you wait. You'll just get more nervous. And that stuck with me. What I did is I scheduled a live stream and I went straight to my TikTok and I started promoting it and just posting little short videos of what I will have available. Leading up to that first show, I was sick to my stomach every single day thinking about it. I specifically sold pre-loved athletic wear, that show I remember. I just kept promoting it on my TikTok and I said, if 3 friends show up, I'm going to be so excited. A ring light, a cell phone, and a tripod stand from making TikTok videos. I was all ready to go with the setup. I had a clothing rack from storing my clothes on Poshmark. I just hung up all the items that I was planning on selling. That day finally came. I literally felt like I was going to throw up right before I pressed go live. I did it, and I ended up selling about 35, 40 items. I started them at $1 and just wanted to try it out and see how it went, and I was hooked. Couldn't believe that I actually enjoyed it. Honestly, have seen live selling in the past, and I saw friends do it and I thought that is amazing, but no way. If you are nervous to start, I promise you I was in the same exact boat. I never thought I would be a live seller. I didn't think it matched my personality in any way whatsoever. Ended up just trying it out and I absolutely loved it. The next few days I was going live constantly because I was so excited about it. My shows were very small, but they were so much fun. And I had about 1,000 items stored and I just kept pulling from that inventory and selling it on Whatnot. Eventually I got on TikTok and YouTube announcing that I am fully going to step away from Poshmark and go full-time on Whatnot. A couple weeks in, I realized that This was the most fun I've ever had in a job. I couldn't believe it was work. I was hanging out with people on a live stream every night and selling clothing and making more money than my Amazon warehouse job paid and Poshmark together. Sat there for a little bit and evaluated, and I realized that I was happier than I had been in a long time with work. This could be an amazing new journey. I just have to take that leap. My first show was on July 14th, 2022. Fast forward, we're in July 14th, 2025. It has been a long journey of up and downs, but I'm going to tell you guys why it is still my job to this day. That's initially how I got started on Whatnot, and it just took off from there. After going full-time on Whatnot, I made a schedule at the beginning where I went live on Thursday nights and Sunday nights consistently. I would do other random pop-up shows during the week, but my audience knew that I was going to be live Thursday night and Sunday night for sure. Starting with community, which is, I believe, the most important factor on Whatnot to have successful shows, whether they're buying or not, having a consistent viewer base, being able to hang out with friends and meet new people while also making money and selling awesome products. What I think really helped my community take off in the beginning was going live at the same time every night around 9 or 10 p.m. and then I would just run till however late. The reason I took off in the beginning is because I was consistent. I had smaller shows in the beginning and I didn't let that stop me. I still was able to sell a lot with the few people in the room. The people that were coming into my shows were coming back the next night and the next night, and we were all becoming really good friends, whether they were buying or not. This night crew community just hanging out just started to grow and grow, and I couldn't believe that I got to be a part of such a fun group. I'm so grateful that started, because that is what made me so excited about Whatnot in the beginning. Finding that community and seeing people return to support and hang out with you every night was the coolest thing ever. I never had a community support like that ever. First things first, if you're starting on Whatnot, is to build your community. It's so great to have inventory. It's so great to make sales and make money. But I promise you, the most meaningful thing on that app is your community and people that will show up for you every night. It won't matter what else is going on in the app. Those people will want to hang out with you and support you regardless. And that is so, so important. I wish more people went into Whatnot knowing that. When you're not focused on the community part and you just start selling, it's hard to make a connection with your audience. And if you don't have that connection, it's hard to keep viewers. Viewers can sense when you're being authentic. The more you're yourself, you're relaxed, you're appreciating your community that's there, the more successful you're going to be on Whatnot. After I started building my community, I just kept running stuff I had listed on Poshmark. I just went through all of that, and I saw that people started to sell liquidation clothing pallets. At the time, did not have upfront money whatsoever. Pre-loved clothing was the way for me to go in the beginning, and that is a wonderful way to start reselling. Start with stuff you have, find pre-loved clothing, which is a lot cheaper. That's how I started, and I eventually saved up that money to afford a liquidation pallet, and that's when I got into the new with tag branding clothing, eventually a few months in on Whatnot. I've always been in the women's contemporary category, selling clothing, shoes, accessories, etc. Time to time, I love to sell fun toys, novelty items. It is a little harder to source those because I don't have like a wholesale source for those, but it's so much fun to sell those items, and so I try to mix in those shows when I can. For the most part, I sell in the women's fashion category, flipping liquidation pallets. Over the years, I've tried so many different show formats, main one being pallet pulls. Those shows are a lot of fun because I buy lost cargo pallets, which are super random. Most of the time, I don't even know what's going to be in my show, just grab stuff as I go, and that makes it more fun and the surprise. Shows have always been really successful for me. That is where I've always found the most profit, but I've also over the years added in a lot of fun entertainment shows, such as Deal or No Deal, where I do a big giveaway show for my audience every couple weeks. I've added in green screen and backgrounds, really make those entertainment shows a lot of fun. And I think those shows are what have built my community more than anything. I think something that's really important that people forget on Whatnot is those moments when you're connecting to your community, you're giving back, and you're having fun is what makes this app. Those shows might have not been the most profitable. The growth from my community from doing those shows is unbelievable. I also do entertainment shows in the style of Rip or Ship, where I will buy blind bags or blind boxes of little collectible items and open them on stream. And those have also been a fun show to connect with my audience. Selling shows are great. Sell what you enjoy, but more importantly, what type of fun show could you do for your audience every once in a while? I know everybody's focused on earning money, this and that, but if you really want to dial it in, grow that community of yours and show people who you are, what fun show could you do? You could open stuff on live. You could do a seller support chat show, share tips on how to sell and whatnot. There are so many different ways you can have a community-based show and gain so much value from that. That is something I would suggest to new sellers more than anything, because that's how you're going to grow your community. Let's talk about the not so great things. In the reselling world, at least for me, there's always been two things that have really stuck out to me: burnout and slow periods. There are days on Whatnot where you will have the most amazing show and you'll be like, this is it. And then you'll show up the next day and sales will be really rough, because that's just the nature of auctions. Things are not always going to sell for what you plan. Obviously, you can start higher if you don't want stuff to sell low. But even if you start higher, there are days where, that you might not have the right buyer for that item. Things just won't go your way. There's definitely a roller coaster of up and downs. Just like selling on any platform online, there's going to be better days than others. As long as it's evening out and there's more good than bad for you, then it can work out just fine. You have to be smart with your money, your inventory. I have had so many ups and downs with all that. Just learning how to fully run this business full time has been a journey. Not every day is going to be the same, but showing up is most important. The best thing you can do after you have a bad sale is show up the next day and try again. Right now it's summertime, and that can be a really hard time for reselling too. Sometimes during the summer slowdown season, you got to try even harder, go live even more, be more picky about your inventory, your savings. That is definitely something I have had to experience and learn over the years also. Even with all the struggles of this job, I've learned how to make it work, because it is truly the job that's made me the most happy. And then obviously burnout, which can come from a few different things. Obviously, if you have a bad day, it can happen from that. But burnout also comes from overdoing it. Live selling is a blast. It's so much fun. It's really easy to get addicted to. When you're having a really good sale, you want to keep selling and selling. I think a lot of people forget the behind the scene works that comes after the sale. That is shipping, packaging, organizing, buying, sourcing new inventory, etc. There's so much more work to this job than you think. Going live on camera is just a small part of it. If you don't learn how to balance live selling in your life, it can become really overwhelming and you can experience burnout. And over the 3 years, I would be lying if I said I've never hit burnout. Really hard to come out of and talk myself out of it. I'm grateful I've been able to, but I've definitely hit a couple breaking points where it's been really difficult and I've had some really hard challenges. That comes with a lot of different jobs, but learning how to, take a couple days off a week where you completely are focused on other things outside of Whatnot. That is my other suggestion if you're just getting started. Make sure you learn how to balance it with your everyday life. If you learn how to manage that, you will be so much happier. It took me a long time to learn how to do that, but I finally feel like I'm getting the ground of, hey, if I'm not feeling 100%, if I'm feeling like I just want to relax that day, listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to your mind. Just take a break if you need to. There's been so many things that have changed over the 3 years I've been on the app. There are new features. There's features that have been removed. Those changes always cause a little chaos. You are flexible and you're able to pivot and grow with this app that is still very new. You can be so successful on it. You got to keep an open mind. When things aren't working in your live stream, you got to be willing to change things up and try something new, try new inventory. There are so many frustrations and problems you can run into. As long as you stay motivated and change things up when you need to, that is when you will see a lot of success. A lot of people will just join Whatnot and try to start selling. Things won't go well for them and they're not willing to change anything that they're doing, and that is the biggest thing holding them back. Live streaming isn't for everyone. Don't quit after the first try. Change things up, see if you can change inventory, price starting points, go live more often at a consistent time to meet a community. Things will work out as you change things up. When I started in the Women's Contemporary years ago, there was one seller live at a time. I was always live at super late at night, and there was maybe one other seller in the Women's Contemporary on at the same time as me. And now there are thousands of sellers in the Women's Contemporary selling all day long. I'm so excited this app is growing. That is great news, and it just means that Whatnot's going to get bigger and bigger. But I just want that to be a comfort to you guys. There was only a few of us in the Women's Contemporary fashion category. Still have the same community I did when I started. There's new people in my community every single day, but the fact that so many people have stuck with me for 3 years supporting me. There's huge corporations, there's small businesses, all different sizes of sellers on Whatnot, and guess what? There's still room for more. There's still room for you. As long as you're authentic and true to yourself and you're consistent, people will show up for you and your community will grow. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Focus on what's best for you. I don't want to keep this video going for so long, but I wanted to just get on here, document this really exciting time of 3 years selling on Whatnot, which is insane to me. I just jumped on thinking that it would be something fun to do on the side every once in a while. It turned it into a job full time for 3 years, and I'm so excited to see what Whatnot brings in the future and to keep growing on there. I wanted to say thank you to all of you who support me. You have no idea. This job is amazing because of you guys. Community on there is the most special thing. Might sound cheesy, but it is the reason I do this job, and it is so much fun. Be able to combine social media, reselling, and a community of friends all in one. I couldn't ask for a more enjoyable job. So thank you guys for all the love and support. It means more to me than you know. And if you guys have any questions about whatnot, make sure to drop it in the comments, or if you have a favorite memory over these 3 years of watching my shows, I would really love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for supporting my YouTube, my whatnot, etc. I will see you guys in my next video.